Some of you know of a website called YouGov. They did a poll not too long ago, and they asked Americans 18 to 29, do you feel favorable to capitalism? And then they asked the same question, do you feel favorable to socialism? On the question of favorable to capitalism, they had a result, 2015, 39% said they were. By 2018, this year, it had fallen to 30%. Based on what we know about the Bernie Sanders campaign and others, the percentage of Americans who are favorable to socialism is probably higher. That's the country you live in. It's not what you read in USA Today, but it's the country you live in. I didn't make any of this up. I wouldn't dare. So what's going on? Now this is the hardest part, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm not an alarmist, I'm really not. I think capitalism has had an enormous run, has enormous powers of revitalizing itself, even when it stumbles as badly as it usually does. And so I'm going to tell you, I mean, you don't know me personally, but take my word for it. I now think it's over. And I've never thought that before. I think we're done. And I think you better think about that, because I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think so. The level of problems we have now as an economy is nothing like I've ever seen before. I happened, which is, by the way, why, a footnote for those of you. Yes, I'm a Marxist. No horns, see? But I am one. And I'm happy being one. I've learned a lot from that tradition. And you would too if you have not yet looked at it. It's got a lot to teach you. And you know why? It's really simple, and you really do know all this. Let me tell you a story that shows it to you. Suppose you lived on a street, and at the end of the street there was a house, and there was a family in it. You knew that, a mother and a father and two kids. And for some reason, you wanted to get to know the family a little bit. You're going to write a report. So you decided, I'm going to go talk to the people in the family. And you had heard a rumor that one of the kids thinks it's the greatest family, feels lucky to have been born into it, and the other kid thinks that their family is a psychological basket case. Okay, suppose you knew all that. So you took your notebook in hand, you went to the end of the street, you knocked on the door. Would you ask to speak to only one kid? Either one. I hope and I assume that the answer is no. You'd understand that if you want to understand the family, you talk to each child, each kid, you ask whatever questions you think are pertinent, and you draw the best conclusion you can based on the research you've done. But you wouldn't in advance not talk to the critic, or for that matter, the celebrant. But you live in a society, I can tell you that as a professor of economics, in which 99% of economics departments in the United States do not contain a professor who's a critic of capitalism. We are too frightened as a country, and we have been for half a century, to do that, which doesn't reflect well on us. If our capitalism is half as strong as it pretends to be, it should have nothing to fear from people who are critics. I tell you even further, if you don't allow a critic, you don't fix your problems. You don't recognize your flaws. You allow the worst things to be indulged in you. Come on. What's this childish fear of the critic and the criticism? The critics find things you're doing you could do better. That's why you have criticism, because it helps. Sure, some people can be blunt and unfriendly and mean and nasty. We know that. And you try to work around them or find a critic who isn't got a psychological problem like that. A critic who actually likes the thing, wants it to be better. Marxism has always been a point of view for me, why I'm attracted to it, because it has a simple idea. We can do better than capitalism. Why the hell do we stay with it? Why do we constantly keep fixing what isn't adequate? You know, it's like that person when your refrigerator punks out one more time. And you call that man or woman, and they come, and they got all the uniform and the tools, and they putter around there, and then they get up and they have that look on their face. You kind of know what they're going to say. And here's what they tell you. Sure, I can fix it. It'll be $200. But I'm telling you, 4 weeks from now, you'll be on the phone and you'll call me back. It's over. You got to get a new fridge. Because you're throwing money, after money, and in the end, it's not good for you. And I'm here to tell you, even though I can make money fixing it, you're better off. I'm in that position.